Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. In the previous episode, we spoke about the name of Allah Al-Alim along with other attributes which can be found in the Quran. Both Alim and the next attribute of Allah that can be found in various places in the Quran. Today we will take up some more of these attributes that are combined along with Allah's name Al-Alim, inshallah. Innal hamdulillah nahmaduhu wa nasta'inuhu wa nastaghfiruhu wa nu'minu bihi wa natawakkalu alayh wa na'udhu billahi min shururi anfusina wa min sayyiati a'malina may yahdihillahu fala mudilla lahu wa may yudlilhu fala hadiya lahu wa nashhadu an la ilaha illallahu wahdahu la sharika lahu wa nashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. The first we will take is Aziz ul Alim. Aziz and Alim. This appears 6 times in the Quran. The name Al-Aziz implies that Allah is ever victorious. He can never be defeated. This name also implies honor. Allah supports believers and gives them the strength in order to grant them victory and honor. Remember, Allah's name Al-Aziz has 3 implications. One is He is peerless, He has no partners. The next is He is invincible. And the third is He is the one to provide support, the one who gives dignity and honor to others. Many times we lose our cool and accuse any person of demeaning and dishonoring us, and at the same time go to any lengths, even committing wrong, just to impress people and get the people to honor us. Give us izzah, so to say. Izzat dena mujhe. Usne meri izzat nikal di. These are the terms that we often use. We must realize and accept the fact that only Allah can give us honor, and His honor, as I told before, is invincible. Aim for Him to honor you first. Don't lower yourself to expect His creation to honor you. Earn His honor and automatically the world will honor you. Allah is mighty in power, He is forceful, and He can do anything He wants. And we know that He has full control over everything. Let us take some of the ayah where this combination Alim, Aziz and Alim are found. In Surah Al-An'am, Surah number 6, ayah number 96, the interpretation reads, He is the cleaver of the daybreak, changing from night to daybreak. He has appointed the night for resting and the sun and the moon for reckoning. Such is the measuring of the Almighty, the All-Knowing. Al-Aziz, Al-Alim. On what basis are we able to predict the sunrise and sunset? The salah timings at a particular place? Has it not been consistent to the second over many years? This can never happen unless it is under the power and the control of Al-Aziz. In another surah, An-Naml, surah number 27, ayah number 78, Verily, your Lord will decide between them, that is the various groups, the various sects, by His judgment. And He is Almighty, the All-Knowing. Al-Aziz, Al-Alim. Then when we go to Surah Yasin, surah number 36, ayahs 38 and 39, and the sun runs on its fixed course for a term which has been appointed. That is the decree of the Almighty, the All-Knowing. And the moon, we have measured for it mansions, that is its traversing path, till it returns like the old dried curved date stalk. Let's ponder a while over these 2 ayahs. Here only the sun and moon have been mentioned. Do you realize that the existing of the earth is practically dependent on the sun and the moon? If the sun were to be any closer to the earth than the limit set by Allah, the earth would get destroyed due to the heat. Similarly, if the sun were to be any further than the earth, than the limit set by Allah, the earth would be inhabitable. If not for the tides and the gravitational and magnetic effects between the moon and the earth would never be what it is now. And our technology and advances are based solely on the effects of gravitation and magnetic phenomena, most of them. If not for this, we would never be able to progress to this extent. Just look at the moon as it goes through the different phases and observe the crescent just before the new moon. It is so thin and curved. Allah compares this to an old, dried, curved date palm tree. Can you imagine? Ponder over this. Our lives also are in phases. We start with the big bang and our youth, everything goes on, and ultimately we become old, withered, bent, and helpless. Just like this curved, dried date palm tree. This very thought should make us humble and submit to Al-Aziz. And see how Allah's might is based on His knowledge. While the earth is rotating around the sun in its oval orbit, sometimes it draws close to the sun and sometimes it goes far from it. It's not a circular path. The sun could swallow the earth if it came close, too close. But when the earth comes close to the sun, something strange happens. The speed of the earth's rotation in its orbit increases, thereby reducing the gravitational pull of the sun. And when the earth is far from the sun's gravitational pull decreases and the earth's rotation speed reduces to remain in orbit around the sun. Now, regarding the earth, does it have its own mind to do all this? Does the earth know the course that it should run? It is all fixed by Allah. He is all-knowing, He is almighty. Allah is beyond compare. It is the decree of the Al-Aziz Al-Alim. Then Surah Al-Ghafir, Surah 40, ayah number 2, the revelation of the book that's referring to the Quran is from Allah, the Al-Aziz Al-Alim. Surah Fussilat, Surah number 41, ayah number 12. The interpretation reads, then He completed and finished from their creation, that is the 7 heavens, in 2 days, and He made in each heaven its affair. And we ordained the nearest heaven with lamps, that is the stars, to be an adornment as well as to guard the earth from the devils, by using them as missiles against the devils. Such is the decree of Him, the Al-Aziz and Al-Alim. Let's have a look at the space. Who holds the celestial bodies? How many galaxies are there? The stars in the first sky itself are said to be more numerous than the grains of sand in the desert. The celestial bodies attract each other while moving, so the distances between such bodies remains fixed. Such attraction forces keep them moving in fixed orbits. How miraculous! Who controls all this? Who has the might and the power to control all this? Look at all the planets of the solar system. All the planets that are related to the sun and which revolve around the sun. And then the solar system is a micro part of the galaxy Milky Way. And there are millions of larger and smaller galaxies in the first sky from among the 7 skies. All these have been existing for trillions of years, and it is only now that human beings have been sent to the earth. The total existence of human beings, right from the time they start occupying the earth till the human beings are there on the earth, the total time would be less than the blink of an eye compared to the existence of the entire universe. And not enough of our destroying the very place we are living in, we are now looking to other places other than the earth to settle down. You see now, moon, Mars, and then they are trying Jupiter also. Do we have any control over the sun? And we know that the sun is going to be destroyed. Are we so sure that humankind is going to last forever? Astronomers themselves are declaring that the universe is heading for a destruction. So are we thinking that we will also not be destroyed? If you go to Surah Az-Zukhruf, Surah number 43, ayah number 9, and indeed, if you ask them who created the heavens and the earth, they will surely say, the Almighty, the All-Knower created them. Al-Aziz, Al-Alim. Whatever knowledge you may claim to have and be proud of, first realize that you have been created by the one who has infinite knowledge, who is ever living compared to your limited span of life on this earth and your limited knowledge also. So realize your limitations and humbly submit to the one who has sent you. Kill your ego, kill your arrogance, because ego and arrogance only belong to the one who deserves it most. That is Allah. He is the creator, He is the owner, He is the possessor. The next attribute that we take along with Al-Alim is Shakiran Adim. The root word here is Shakara. Something that increases and grows what has been given to it. If you feed fodder to the cattle, with that little fodder that you keep giving it, what happens? It gives you milk, it gives you flesh. So it's something like what we call as dabba. Dabba is a cattle, shukur. That is what increases what has been given to it. You pour a little water onto the land and what does it yield? Plants and fruits. It's the earth that is giving more than what it is. It is giving out more than what it is taking in. Arde shukr. From this comes the word ashakir, which means the appreciator and the rewarder of good. We cannot expect Allah to thank us just as we expect human beings to thank us whenever we help them. Allah is not in need of your good that He should be thankful to you. No, never. Some of the translations of the Quranic ayahs mention Shakir as thankful. It is wrong. He does not need you at all. But then He appreciates and rewards you for the good that you do for His sake. Shakir is the one who recognizes and rewards the small quantity of good actions and the one who forgives the large quantity of sins. Subhanallah. The Rabb who has given us everything that we have, He appreciates the little that we do and gives us back even more. He is the one who multiplies the rewards of His sincere slaves manifold without any measure. He is the one who recognizes and rewards those who give thanks to Him and remembers the one who remembers Him. He appreciates the gratitude and thanks of His slaves by bestowing upon them even more blessings. So whoever seeks to get close to Him by doing any righteous action, Allah draws closer to him by a greater degree. And also, Allah appreciates our intentions. We may want to do something good, but for some reason or the other, we are not able to do that. But still He rewards us for the intention. For example, a man had wealth and knowledge. He used to give charity and he used to spread the knowledge that he attained. Another man who had knowledge but no wealth. He said, if I had the wealth that that person had, I would have done the same. The Prophet ﷺ said, both are rewarded the same. Can you imagine? No one except He has the full knowledge of your intentions, your sincerity. And on this basis, on this knowledge, He rewards you. Subhanallah. If you go to Surah Al-Baqarah, Surah number 2, ayah number 158, verily, As-Safa and Marwa, the two mountains in Makkah, are the symbols of Allah. So it is not a sin on him who perform Hajj or Umrah of the house, the Kaaba, to perform the tawaf between Safa and Marwa. And whoever does good voluntarily, then verily Allah is Shakirun Alim. Subhanallah. In Surah An-Nisa, Surah number 4, ayah number 147, why should Allah punish you if you have thanked Him and have believed in Him? And Allah is ever appreciative, all appreciative of your good and also all-knowing. In Surah Al-An'am, Surah number 6, ayah number 53, thus we tried some of them with others that they may say, is it these, that is referring to the believers, that Allah has favored from amongst us? Does not Allah know best those who are grateful? The next set we go to is Khallaqul Alim. The word Khallaq is derived from the word Khaliq, which is the creator. The one who brings into existence something from nothing. The root word here is Khalaqa. Reference is made more than 200 times in the Quran to His creating the human beings alone. Subhanallah. If you go to Surah Al-Hijr, Surah number 15, ayah number 86, verily your Lord is the all-knowing creator. He knows everything. Khallaqul Alim are the words used here. All that He created was not haphazard, not for His entertainment or for playfulness, but each thing was created with the full knowledge and for a particular purpose. If you go to Surah Yasin, Surah number 36, ayah number 81, is not He who created the heavens and the earth able to create the like of them? Yes, indeed. He is all-knowing, the supreme creator. When the disbelievers who did not believe in life after death, they took a decayed bone and shook it in front of the Prophet ﷺ's face, asking him, tell me, can this be brought back to life? Allah responds, saying that it is not at all difficult for Him to do this when He has brought them into existence from nothing. So in this ayah, Allah is asking them, if He has created the skies and earth, can He not create them? Allah reasserts by saying that He is all-knowing and He is the supreme creator. Inshallah, we'll stop with this today, and inshallah we will continue with the other attributes that are combined with Allah's name Al-Alim. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.